Good morning, naimbangag sa patayo amin.
Halina't samahan natin ang Isangguni mo kay Vice Mayor Attorney Olowan, co-hosted by Mr. G. Iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan ang ating matutunghayan, kaya't ating pakinggan dahil ang mamamayan ay ang puso ng sambayanan. Sa Isangguni mo kay Vice Mayor Attorney Olowan,
We will have a peaceful nation.
tuwing Sabado, alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali sa Cool 97.5 Baguio at live streaming sa Facebook at YouTube.
Sa mga taga Baguio, mabuhay tayong lahat.
At napakaganda po na ating pag-usapan po ngayon. Very timely. Most especially, actually kahit na walang pandemic o meron usaping mental health po tayo ngayon. At we are really proud. We're being joined by Dr. Sally Maximo from Philippine Mental Health Association, Cordillera Chapter Incorporated. Doc, good morning po sa inyo, Doc.
Ayan, good morning. Good morning, Sir William. Good morning, everyone from Cool Radio Station 97.5, and of course through the program of our Vice Mayor. So I hope you will learn a lot from our discourse here today.
Maraming salamat. Ma'am, pwede nyo kami bigyan ng konting background po, Madam. Ano po yung mga basic na serbisyo na binibigay po natin na galing po sa inyong opisina po, Madam?
Okay. So, sa Philippine Mental Health Association, several yung kanilang services doon, So one of the service that they do would be really yung mga staff na nandoon would really be sa intervention, sa intervention aspect, So I guess yung staff doon, si Ma'am Gina, would be able to explain more, But from my end, what I observed doon sa agency, sa PMHA mismo, marami silang mga sections doon, like there's the assessment part, there's also the research part of the program, tapos meron yung intervention part, And of course there are those parts of the association, that's in charge really of the administrative part, ng PMHA.
Galing po, Madam, no? At
Oo,
ma'am, pwedeng pakibati po ating mga kasama po sa opisina.
Yeah, okay. So good morning everyone, So Ma'am Gina, and everyone there, at PMHA Cordillera chapter, So not only that, but of course, we also represent not only our chapter, but definitely, the entire PMHA association, from the different chapters of the Philippines.
Maraming salamat po, Madam. Ma'am, usaping mental health po tayo po ngayon. Ito po ay napakaraming request actually.
Talaga? Wow.
Natatanggap po tayo po, Madam kayo na po, Ma'am, I'll give the virtual floor to you na po, Madam, para dire-diretso po because
sige.
you are the expert. Tatanggalin ko na po ang Q&A po, Madam.
Okay, so wala nang Q&A ito.
Wala na, Ma'am. Diretso na po
sige.
kasi kayo pong expert po dito po, Madam.
Okay, then. Okay, so for my presentation, so siguro si ating Sir Reyes can now present my slides, So nandiyan na ho ba yung aking mga slides? Ayan, So that's the title ng aking presentation for today. It is debunking mental health stigma. So because I guess this is one of the topics that would interest everyone. So let us first i-define muna natin kung ano ang stigma, para at least we are on the same boat kumbaga, So stigma is when someone sees us or sees another in a negative way, particularly because of a particular characteristic or attribute. In our case, we will talk about mental health issues. So if somebody has a mental illness, how do we view the person? And if it starts off with a negative connotation, okay, then that's stigma. So it starts with thoughts. And the way we think about it will, of course, translate to the way we're going to deal with somebody na may mental health issues. So when someone treats us in a negative way, because of a particular characteristic like mental illness, okay, dahil nga may stigma, di ba, nagkakaroon ng discrimination, And at the same time, pwedeng magkaroon ng abuse. Okay, so actually, ito yung parang gusto kong mapakita, na ito yung, sabi natin, consequence, ng stigma. Okay, so pupunta tayo sa aking slide, no? So let's talk about the different types of abuse, no? Actually, itong slide na to, no, galing siya sa isang qualitative study, no, ni Tanaka, Tulyao, no, Yamashita, Matsuo, no, on the stigma that's experienced by the people with mental health problems and epilepsy dito sa Pilipinas. Okay, so here, setting ito sa Pilipinas. So when somebody has mental illness, ito yung mga na-experience nilang different types of abuse. No, yung una yung psychological abuse. Ayan yung mga mga lived experience, no, ng mga naka-experience ng psychological abuse. Like sa family, no, yung my other siblings say that she's crazy. Kapatid mo na yan, ha? Or yung classmates niya, bubuli siya, no? Yung mga kapitbahay ko, no, they say things about me, no, like abnoy, for instance. That's a term, no? Okay, o sa atin sa Ilocano, agbagtit, parang mga ganyan, no? Aguyong, parang ganyan, no? So, or let's say for instance, no, the person might feel na, you know, co-workers, employees are gossiping, no, about him or her, no? O yun, or let's say for instance, they told me I was lazy. Okay, yung mga ganyang bagay. Tapos, not only psychological abuse, pero meron din tayo yung sa next slide, yan, no? Physical violence, no? Some of them experience physical violence, as well as some of them might feel restricted. Okay, so that's in the next slide. No? Okay, so yeah, no? If you look at it, no? Halimbawa, no, in the family, no? It is possible, no, that they may experience, no, physical violence like slapping, okay, people throwing stones at them, no? Okay, lalo na sa mga bata, no, sometimes they can be mean, no, to others, no, that they see very different. Or when my neighbor hit him, okay, so there, no, you can see that, no. Or let's say for instance, pati mismo kung minsan sa mga agencies, no, you see when the public safety officers hit me, no? And I was very scared. And that's an experience, no, of somebody, no, with mental illness, no? Or some might feel restricted kapag kunwari nasa isang institution. Okay? So like ito sinabi na nung mga practitioners, like they might tie them down with a rope because the person would always wander around. No? So I guess, no, these are some, no, experiences, no, nakakalungkot, no. And then ayan, no, yung next na slide natin, no, these are some experiences then, no, on a social level, no, that somebody with mental illness may feel that they are not supported. Tulad na, no, her brothers don't understand her, mga ganyan, no, or no one can really understand me, even my friends. Or let's say my coworkers usually laugh because they don't know how it is to really have these kinds of problem, no? Ang mental illness hindi naman kasi siya very tangible tignan, unlike a physical illness, no? And yun nga, ang nakakalungkot is because of this tendency, no, na yun na somebody with mental illness, no, or somebody in a crisis. I'm talking about acute crisis here, no. Para silang on survival mode, no? Ang tawag natin diyan yung parang kung meron tayong physical survival, meron din tayong psychological survival. Kaya kahit na inaapi-api mo mga yan, no, they wouldn't put up a fight, no? Kasi kung tutusin, they're already fighting inside. Why would I exert energy fighting people who are taking advantage of me? You see, so you can see, no, the vulnerability, no, of these individuals, no, of those who suffer, no, at the moment, no, a particular mental health illness, no. So when somebody is in psychological crisis or emotional crisis, kumbaga. Okay, so let's see pa what they experience, no. No, many of them, no. So that's the next slide, no. Some of them would also feel neglected, no. So no. Yan yung next slide, and also rejected, no? Yan yung mga feelings, no, like halimbawa ito mga lived experience to, no. These are the lived experience not only of individuals who did suffer, no, mental illness, no, or nagkaroon ng crisis, no, psychologically and mentally, pero also those who are, you know, observing, no, this individual. Ayan, no, like halimbawa yan, no. Tulad niya, no, ito neglected, no, batang-bata pa lang, no, iniwanan na ng magulang, no? And therefore there are others who took care of them, Okay? Or let's say for instance, kapag kunwari nasa hospital sila, no? Kung minsan they're not anymore treated, no, as a human being, no, they're just can you just imagine that, no, that when they visited the hospital, they saw that the patient was already naked, no, and was already held with other mental patients in the room, no, kung tutuusin, no, yung consent nila hindi na hinihingi, no, and then they might also feel rejected. Oh, so this is something, no, that halimbawa yun, oh, my brother says to keep her out of the home. Oh, so probably that's a relative, a family member, no, with mental health issue. Can you just imagine that, no? Or he had many friends before, no? They experienced ng patient, but now they avoid him. Okay? Or let's say, yeah, no, it has something to do with work. No, I kept failing, no, to find a job. Okay? Kaya ang gagawin ko, itatago ko na lang, no, yung mental health issue ko. Okay, so there, no, so this in fact, no, is would be some consequences, no, of stigma, especially when the stigma is acted out in certain behaviors, and indeed, no, it can lead to discrimination, and it can lead, no, to really actual actual abuse, no, actual neglect and rejection. Why, no, bakit ba, no? So that's why do we have this stigma? Okay, so it boils down, no, to this, no, that people really lack understanding of mental health problems. Okay, so there, no, kung tutusin, this sense of shame has been namananayan historically and everything. No, it's more difficult to understand, no, physical, mental health problems, no, than physical health problems. And this was so true in the past, lalong-lalo na sa past, no. Kaya kung tutusin, hindi ba ganun yan, no? Pag di natin naiintindihan ang isang phenomenon, no, and mental health problems, no, is more difficult to understand, no, than physical illness. What's our attitude, no? Our attitude is really more on the negative side. No? Although mas maganda ngayon, no, it's getting better. Our situation is getting much better now, no, because of more information, no, in the field of science, na in the field of neuroscience, in the field of psychology, in the field of psychiatry. Kaya kahit papaano, nagkakaroon tayo ng information, na about mental health. Yun lang, no, kulang pa rin. No? And that's the reason why, no, these kinds of platform that you offer, no, Sir William, no, is in fact, no, very good. No? It also specifically helps, no, our profession in order to disseminate, no, this information, just to increase, no, itong information on mental health. Okay, so if we look at it, no, itong sense of shame na yan, saan pa nanggagaling yan? Nanggagaling din yan, no, sa ating kultura. I guess it doesn't only hold true in the Philippines, but it might, no, it is impacting all, no, like pag halimbawa, no, may mental health problem ang isang tao, pwedeng ang impact niyan hindi lang sa sarili, pati sa pamilya. And the thing is, the most difficult thing about this is hindi lang naman stigma towards others ang na-experience, no, ng isang tao. Ang isang issue pa dito, yung tinatawag nating self-stigma. Na when you yourself, do not accept, no, that you have a mental health issue. Okay, so there, no, so yeah, no, pagka kunwari, no, nakita mo na may family member ka na may mental health issue, feeling mo bad blood. Okay, so there, no, I mean, baka lahi-lahi, apektado din ako lahat-lahat. So these are all the sense of shame, no, that can come in there. And we know that when somebody has some, halimbawa nasa crisis yan, no, hindi ba, pag nasa crisis yan, they can engage in certain behaviors that pagka ino-observe mo, okay, it can cause, no, a lot of, discomfort. Napaka out of the, that it can even in the end, cause some kind, no, of shame towards the person kapag na-realize niya na, naku, nung nagkaroon ako ng crisis, ganun ako mag-behave. Okay, so there, no? And at the same time, ito pa, no, these unrealistic expectations about mental health problems. Na tipong parang akala mo, kapag kunwari na-diagnose ka na, no, with a particular mental health disorder, no? So, halimbawa, na-diagnose ka ng any mood disorder, or schizophrenia, akala mo hopeless na. No, it's not. no? So we have to begin with the fact na ang mental kung tutusin, the more we would understand no these different disorders, mas madali natin siyang ma-manage, no? Hindi actually hopeless. There are many people there, no? And even all of us, no, we were not spared no of mental health issues, no? And I'll tell you why, no, in the succeeding slides. Okay, now, what would be the cause no of stigma? Anong mangyayari no pagka gano'n, no? So let's look at the ano, no? Pag may stigma, no? And if the culture doesn't stop, paano tayo makaka-recover niyan? Okay, so there, no? Can you just imagine, no? Itong negative perception would more likely lead to discrimination and would more likely lead to behaviors that would aggravate, okay, the disorder. So what would happen? No, it slows down recovery, no? And at worst, no, magli-lead siya, no, sa further deterioration. Okay? Tapos at the same time, no, halimbawa kung yung stigma is not just stigma, halimbawa it's a self-stigma, no, that's experienced by the individual. Ayan, paano siya makakaano? Kung ako may self-stigma, hahanap ba ako ng help? Okay? Or would I identify, no? Would I identify that there's something that I need to attend to? Okay? Kaya nga no, yun yung nakakalungkot. No, yun yung nakakalungkot, like when an individual is not aware that he or she no, is already suffering, no? Tapos at the same time, no, hindi na siya magsisik ng help, no? And in fact, this is often no a problem, no, with those with mental health issues, no? Na kahit na dinalam na kuminsan kahit na dinala na sila no sa professionals, they would not no even hindi sila magko-comply no sa mga suggestions na nandiyan, no? So it can be kind of difficult. Okay, tapos ano pa no, what else no would be the cause no of stigma, no? So that would be another slide. I think that's a next slide that I have. Okay, so there, no. Okay, mental health problems is costly. Okay, so there, it is costly. Okay, kaya you have here no the statistics for it, no. In fact, no, depression is the #1 cause of ill health and disability worldwide. So this is based on World Economic Forum, no, World Health Organization. Kasi notice that that this illness no can be invisible. Di mo alam yan. Okay? Halimbawa, papasok yan, no? Pupunta sa industriya, sa workplace niya. Pero kung kunwari may depression siya, may anxiety siya, hindi napapansin, no? Hindi napapansin. Pero ano ang nagsasuffer? Ang nagsasuffer yung productivity niya, no? So yung productivity, no, nagsasuffer. So pwede yan maging present, pero okay, hindi naman pala siya productive. Okay, so there, no? Tapos at the same time, no, it is also very costly, no? It is very very costly kasi apart from that experience, no, na hindi ka nagiging productive, okay? Marami pang consequences 'yan, no? Lalo na on a social level, no, which we will see later, no? Tapos itong pandemic, okay? So the next slide please. Okay, so if we have napansin niyo 'yan, no? 'Di ba? Nabanggit din ni Sir William 'yan, no? That lalo na itong pandemic, no? Actually, no, the mental health problems no increased, no, during this pandemic, no, and the rise no of the experience of depression, of anxiety, of PTSD, no, of stress symptoms, no, itong mga psychological distress na yan, and even sleep problems. Okay, it really rose no, exponentially, no, during this time of pandemic. So naintindihan natin 'yan, no? And you can see here, ayan, no? Let us go to this. No, what would be the consequences of poor mental health? Ayan, no, ang dami. No, hindi lang yung functioning ng person, no? Hindi lang yung pag-iisip niya, the way the person thinks, but rather you notice that the emotionality is very much affected here, no? Sa mga ibang hindi makakaintindi, or when the family, when other people do not recognize it, it can cause a lot no of discord, no? And can you just imagine, halimbawa, no, if the adult has a mental health problem, no, mental health concern, tapos may mga anak siya, can you imagine the impact no on the children, no? or let's say for instance on a partner, on a spouse. Okay, so among coworkers, no, can you just imagine the impact pag hindi naintindihan, no, ng coworkers. Okay, so there, no. Now let's look at why it matters, no. So why is it that our understanding of mental health matters? Kasi nga yun, it affects all, no. So in understanding mental health, we cannot separate it from the other areas of health, no, that needs to be the concern, no, of every human individual. And that means physical health as well as spiritual health, no? So when we talk about wellness, we cannot really separate mental. In fact, when we talk about wellness, we have to include all aspects, no, of the person. Yung physical health niya, yung social health niya. We talk about social wellness, we talk about mental wellness, no? We talk about spiritual health. Then we're talking about wellness, no, in all its entirety. So that's what I'd like to emphasize here, no, Sir William. When we talk about mental health, we're talking about, no, a wellness sa entirety, no, ng human being. Kaya kung tutusin, no, why is it that this is important? No, kasi it facilitates, no, the achievement of our needs. Okay? So can you just imagine natin, okay, mahirap maging tao, mahirap maging human being. Okay, so the mahirap maging human being, and we really need, no, to really be able to achieve, no, or to address, no, some of our basic needs as well as our higher needs, kumbaga, no? And what are these needs? Bakit natin kailangan i-achieve para maging human tayo? Para maging human tayo, tapos it's easier for us, no, to actualize yung potential natin, no? And at the same time to be able, no, to be able to really fulfill whatever purpose we have here, no, in the best possible light. Okay, so there, no. Kaya if I look at the next slide, no, the next slide to that needs, no. So what do we do, no, in order to lessen this stigma? Para mabawasan natin, no, itong, or para mawala, no, yung stigma natin, para hindi tayo mahiya, no, when we do have it. We need to understand mental health. Okay? Kaya yan, no, what is mental health? Ayan, no, nandyan na lahat, no. When we talk about mental, no, kasama yan emotional, psychological, and social well-being, no? So that's an aspect of it. But you notice it's very linked to the other areas. Physical, okay, as well as the spiritual areas, no, that we need to address, no. So it deals with how we handle stress, how we relate to others, no, and how we make choices. Kaya ang point dito is it is very important at every stage of our life. So there, no, kaya kung tutusin, no, kung may mental health issue tayo, may mental health crisis tayo at the moment, ayan, our thinking, our moods, our behaviors are affected. And sometimes, no, when we experience that, akala natin ang sama nating tao. You know, I have several clients who actually feel that, no? They're experiencing a kind of crisis, and then ang dilemma nila, feeling nila bad na silang person, no? That I'm a bad person because of this. No. It's just that at that moment, no, they are suffering, no, they are in pain inside, no, and if we can just facilitate their healing, then they too, no, would recognize na, ay, oo nga, no, I am separate from this illness because deep down in my core, no, I'm really a good person. Okay, so this is what they really, no, experience. Okay, now, kaya yan, no, mental health is everybody's business. Okay, it is everybody's business kasi lahat tayo, to a certain extent, we have, no, suffered, no, a kind of mental health issue, no. Hindi lang ito concern ng mga clients, no, who are let's say approaching, no, or who are under clinical intervention, no, either a clinical psychologist or a psychotherapist. It is everybody's concern. Okay, and buti na lang, no, we have this law, no, which is now in place, no, yung Philippine mental health law. Hopefully, no, the law would be implemented very well so that at least kahit papaano, no, the government can be able to help, no, subsidize or even support, no, the government as well as the non-government agencies, no, like for instance the PMHA, no, from where I am associated, no, and are affiliated, no, we would really, no, we would really welcome, okay, whatever support, no, our local government, no, can be able to provide, no, the center, so that the reach, no, of our service, no, would be kumbaga, it will go far, no, it will go far, and our law, no, provides for that. Okay, so there, no, so I guess, no, Sir William, no, these are some of the ending, no, ending slides that I have, no? Because actually I'm looking forward, no, to the question and answer, no, when I give these types of talk, no, I really like the interaction, no, later, no. Okay, so siguro, no, I guess, no, we can also lessen this stigma by understanding, no, yung nature natin, no, as human beings, that we will have suffering, that we will be vulnerable, kasi tao lang tayo, no, and the more we are willing to accept that, no, as part, no, of our life, okay, notice that whenever we do experience certain crises, whether it's a mental health crisis or a physical crisis, okay, or physical illness, for instance, like COVID-19, no, we're more able, no, to handle it better. Okay, so there, no, so we need to understand, no, human suffering and vulnerability, no, as part, no, of human experience, and grow out, no, from it, no. Okay, so ito nga, may mga naipon-ipon ako dito ng mga quotes, no, and, in order to just simply, no, stress this. Okay, tulad niya, no, those who suffer from mental illness are stronger, no, than they think. Okay, so why? No, because they must fight to go to work. They must care for their families, for their friends, no, and act normal, no, while still battling, no, something that is inside, no, yung mga unimaginable pain. And on our part, no, who, let's say, for instance, see people suffering, no, when we notice them, no, I guess, no, one of the keys that we choose kindness, no, and compassion, no, overall. Okay, so you know, sometimes when I hear, no, of suicide cases, di ba? Kumbaga parang pagdating sa halimbawa, no, when we talk about suicide cases, there's always bakit siya nag-suicide? And often the most recent event na nangyari that would push somebody, no, to, let's say, for instance, give up, no, and kill himself or herself. Okay? Ano yun para lang siyang last straw. No? So that's the last straw. Ibig sabihin yung taong yun, marami na siyang ininda, no, previously, hindi lang yun. But, you know, let's say for instance, no, you are given a chance to respond to somebody na hindi mo alam at that point is nagsasuffer pala ng mental health issue. Okay? It is possible, no, that your kindness and your compassion, our kindness and our compassion may bring out, no, or may raise, no, the recovery process of this person, may kickstart it, or it is possible that we could be the last straw, no, in the person's suffering. So I hope, no, that by choosing kindness and compassion, we do not become the last straw, no, para magbigay, no, or para bumigay, no, yung tao. Okay, so there, no, so the last slide, no, this is actually, no, some of the ways, no, to fight mental health stigma, no, which is proposed, no, or which was provided, no, by Laura Greenstein. Okay, yeah, no, talk openly about mental health. Okay, so we're here. Okay, your mental health workers, no, are working so hard in order to give information, no, on mental health. No? We need to really educate ourselves and others. Okay? We be conscious about the language that we use. Okay? So, and when we talk about language, no, let's just be kind. Let's be kind and compassionate. Okay? We encourage equality between physical and mental illness. Pareho lang yan. Sabi natin, no, puro magkakadikit yan. No? Notice that many of those individuals who are always in and out of the hospital because of physical illness, no? several of them, or even a greater percentage of them, are actually also suffering from mental health, no, concerns. Okay, so choose empowerment over shame. So if you know that you have a mental health illness, go seek help. Okay, so it's a form of empowering yourself. Okay, so be honest about treatment. Okay, correspond, no, very, very closely with your clinician, no? So would be that a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist, no, who would provide, no, who would need to collaborate with you, no, on your medications, no. So let others know when they are being stigmatizing. So in other words, it is okay to call out others, no. So when their behaviors are already stigmatizing, okay, it's okay, no, to call them out. Okay, and when you are called out, yeah, be humble enough, no, to accept. No, oo nga pala, no, naging stigmatic ko doon. No, so on the part naman, no, nung mga may to those who are suffering at the moment, no, with acute crisis, okay, do not harbor, no, self-stigma. Okay? Instead, what you need to do is to understand the illness, not to get information about it, okay, so that you can be able to do all those means in order to manage the disorder. Okay, so that's the end, no, Sir William, no, of my presentation actually, no. So if there are some questions, no, that you can that we can discuss, or kung may mga tanong pa ba based on this, then I'm much willing, no, to address that, no, hopefully, no, and answer it the best I could.
Salamat po, madam, no. I'm also learning, madam. Kaya, iba talaga pag expert ang to handle, especially, this is like a big concern among students, not only among students, but also adults, no? Anybody can get hit by a mental issue. Anyway, ma'am, may tanong po rito ng isang listener. Ano daw po yung mga mythology about mental health problems po, madam? May mga myths ba tayo dyan? Pag tinignan mo yung tao, okay siya, pero pag umuwi sa bahay, umiiyak na. Parang gano'n.
Yeah, actually, no, it's very variable, no. Yung ano na yan, no, the experience of a mental health concern varies from one person to another, no. Take note, no, that their personality will also come into play, no. May mga tao na parang pag nakita mong, halimbawa, kunwari depression, no. May mga tao na kapag nakita mo sila, no, halatang depressed sila. No, because you can even see it, no, in their physical disposition, no, but I have also met, no, clients na hindi ganun, no, ang presentation nila, no. Actually, no, sa labas they can act very, very alam mo yung parang very tough, no, na parang very strong, no, and yet, no, when I speak to them, no, they are suffering inside, no? So kumbaga parang it really depends on the personality of the person. So we cannot really put everyone in a box. I guess that's siguro the myth there, no? The myth there would be parang ikakahon mo siya, no? Ikakahon mo siya with the diagnostic criteria that can be seen, no, sa halimbawa sa mga diagnostic criteria na ginagamit, no. Itong mga symptoms na yan, well, which you can really check, no. Pwede yan, no. You can use this diagnostic criteria, but when really understanding, no, yung client, you have to go beyond, no, the list that's there, no, sa criteria na yan, no, kasi iba-ibang presentation yan per person.
There's another question po, ma'am. Ito, napakaganda nito. Mr. G, happy lunchtime po, and kay Doc, maraming salamat sa kanyang presentation. I'm watching actually. Ang question ko, kasi ako isang estudyante, yung online education po ba, madam, malaking cost ng mental parang health problem as compared sa face-to-face classes? May...
Alam nyo, oo, sa akin it's not really the online platform per se, but rather what really causes the difficulties, the change. Hindi ba? Kung kunwari, no, dati-dati tayo, face to face. Iba yung ating sistema noon. Iba yung sistema natin noon. Tapos biglang mag-shift tayo. So really, any change, no, will cause imbalance sa system natin. No? And the thing is, all systems, no? So if this is in the educational system, lahat nag-a-adjust. Hindi lang mga estudyante, pati mga guro nag-a-adjust, pati yung administration nag-a-adjust. No? Kasi ngayon, no, it's a very unstructured situation. So pati yung administration ng mga schools ninyo are also, no, finding ways, no, on how to navigate, no, this, no, as in order to provide, no, a particular platform of learning, okay, para mag-provide ng platform of learning na in a way hindi mahuhuli ang mga estudyante, hindi titigil ang education, pero they're also finding their way, no? And therefore, no, any changes that we have, no, so let's say first, why is it that some people suffer more than others? No? Ang nagkakaproblema is iba-iba tayo kung paano mag-adjust.
Ayun,
There are those,
talaga.
kumbaga may mga system, no, I'm talking now about ourselves as a system, ha. Okay, so there are certain systems na mas mabilis mag-adjust, no, and good for that. No? Pero may mga ibang system na, you know, mas matagal, no, mag-adjust.
So depende po talaga sa tao po, no?
Depende yan. Pero ang importante dito is, yun nga, no, 'di ba meron tayo yung parang motto na we heal as one. No? 'Di ba? We heal as one. Ang importante lang diyan is talagang discourse. No? So like let's say for instance, ito ang need natin. Ganyan.
Ito pala, Doc, siguro I hope wala po, no, sa mga nanonood po diyan, most especially in topic natin, napakaganda. Dok, anong may papayo niyo po? May mga manonood na ngayon, maraming problema about nasaktan ang sarili nila o furthermore, na nanonood po ngayon, anong may papayo niyo po sa kanila, Dok?
Ang may papayo ko siguro, no, like, kasi di ba sa mental health issue, siguro one of the major concerns, no, ng mga tao na nag-spiral down is the way they manage feelings. Intindihin muna natin kung anong emotions, kung anong gamit niyan, no, sa atin. Dahil kaibigan natin yan. Okay? Pero kailangan intindihin natin kung ano siya, no, para ma-manage natin siyang maigi. No? And there are a lot of skills that we need to learn about that. Like, kunwari may stress tayo. Paano natin makita? No? How do we respond to stress? Paano natin siya, how do we view stress? There are some people ina-avoid nila ang stress. Ay, good luck sa iyo. No, pagka ganun, lalo kang may stress niyan, no? Kasi kung tutusin, stress is always part of human life, no? Ang importante lang is how we handle stress, how we think about it. Okay? So then, how we move forward. Okay?
Ayun.
Despite all these setbacks that we experience. Okay, so then, tulad yan, COVID-19, stressful sa atin yan. Okay? Ang reality niyan is that hindi mawawala ang COVID-19, nandyan na yan.
Totoo po yan. So, you must learn how to live with it po, no, Doc? No?
You live with it. You start knowing with that, living with it. Okay, and then after that, okay, ano nang gagawin natin? So ang point dun is that we have to gain control, no, over those stuff that we can control. Hindi natin makokontrol si COVID. Andyan na, hindi pa nga natin makita.
Ay, Doc, may nagpapasalamat po dito. Actually, marami sa messenger ko.
Okay.
Mr. G, meron akong request. Pwede mo bang paki-edit, paki-cut mismo yung talk lang ni Doc? Tapos may sariling documentation kasi maraming matutulungan to. Sige, your wish is my command. Bibigyan ko rin si Doc ng kopya nito. I-edit ko mamaya, Doc.
Mr. G pala tawag sa iyo, no?
Isasend ko po yung link po, Doc, sa nag-chat po sa akin ng inyong page po mismo para kung sakaling pwede niyo pong ma-post kasi marami pong natutulungan ngayon. At isa pa po, sa inyong advocacy po pala, sa inyong opisina, Doc, open na open ang ready program po natin. Libre po, Doc, anytime na pwedeng na gusto niyo na may advocacy na gustong i-discuss sa radyo, isang text lang po, Doc, schedule na natin kaagad kasi lalong-lalo opisina nyo, napakalaking tulong na idudulot.
Ay,
So,
okay. Thank you po so much. Makakatulong talaga sa PMHA yan, no?
ayos ma'am, partner na po tayo. Kami na pong bahala sa mass media airtime. Anytime po, Doc. Nakuha,
Okay.
chat-chat na po tayo. At
yeah.
mga kaibigan, meron pa tayong sequel kasi itong mental wellness, malaking problema po to ngayong pandemic at mga darating pa hindi natin alam. Doc, sa ating pagtatapos sa ating radio program, anong may papayo niyo po sa mga kababayan po natin na meron pong pinagdadaanan po ngayon, Doc?
Okay. Ito lang siguro, no, ang pwede kong maipayo, no. As someone also who have suffered from depression in the past, I'm not talking here about from a textbook. Kaya I'm also talking here from a personal experience of depression. Mahirap yan. No? Mahirap to go into the illness. Hindi arte-arte yan. No? While some people would say arte-arte yan, hindi yan arte-arte. I know how difficult it is. Okay? Pero siguro, no, like, move forward, no matter how slow it is. Okay? Do it, no, slowly, bit by bit. Okay? So yun ang pwede kong isabihin. And be kind to your mind. And do not take your thoughts as well as your feelings very seriously, because that's not you. You are more than your thoughts. You are more than your feelings. Okay? So there are a lot of agencies of people, no? Our mental health workers are there, no? Willing to help you. No? You just have to reach out. Okay, so ang problema, temporary lang yan. Okay, so ang problema, temporary lang yan. So do not make any permanent solutions, no, to a very temporary situation. It may look so slow, okay, but you just move forward and be kind to your mind. So yun siguro, Sir G, ang pwede kong sabihin.
Okay, kaibigan, isang malakas sa palakpak po para kay Dr. Sally Maximo, Philippine Mental Health Association, Cordillera Chapter Incorporated. Galing po sa aming radio station sa Cool 97.5 at sa programa po ng ating Vice Mayor, ISANGGUNI mo, kay Vice Mayor OLOWAN. Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Dr. Sally. Mga kaibigan, magbabalik po kami next week.
Good morning, naimbangag sa patayo amin.
Halina't samahan natin ang ISANGGUNI mo kay Vice Mayor Attorney OLOWAN, co-hosted by Mr. G. Iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan ang ating matutunghayan, kaya't ating pakinggan dahil ang mamamayan ay ang puso ng sambayanan. Sa ISANGGUNI mo kay Vice Mayor Attorney OLOWAN,
We will have a peaceful nation.
tuwing Sabado, alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali sa Cool 97.5 Baguio at live streaming sa Facebook at YouTube.
Sa mga taga Baguio, mabuhay tayong lahat.